Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, let me paint a little picture for you, all right? You're standing in line, you're at a store, and there's a lot of people there, and you listen and you hear something. You hear a song playing over the loudspeakers. It's your song, your favorite fucking song. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, for the sake of this video, that it's I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. Okay, which I'm not going to sing too much of for copyright reasons. But let's just say you hear the song and it comes on, right? So what are you going to do? All right, you're standing in line. There's so many people in front of you that most likely the entire fucking song is going to play before you get all the way up to where you need to go. All right? And this is your fucking song. What are you going to do? What are you doing? What are you doing? All right? You hear it slowly come on. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Right? Every single bone in your body is telling you that you want to do one thing. You want to dance, right? Obviously, you want to dance. It's not even something you have to think about. It is instinctual. Instinctually, you hear the music, you hear the rhythm, and your body, it wants to start, it wants to start moving. You don't have to think about it, right? But then what happens? What happens? Do you dance? Do you dance in that moment when you're in this crowded coffee shop and the song comes on? Do you dance? Or do you start hearing this voice in your head that says, I can't believe you. You really think that you can dance in here like that? You really think that you could just dance in here like that? That would be so embarrassing. That would be so embarrassing. Everyone would stand and they'd look at you. They'd stand and they'd look at you and they would judge you. And worse yet, they might even say something. They might even start talking shit. They might even start saying this and saying that. So don't do it. I know that it would bring you so much joy for you to start dancing right now. And we're not just talking about like full on fucking dancing. All right. I'm not saying you're out here fucking breakdancing and shit like that. I'm just saying like a little, you just kind of, you're just kind of moving back and forth, just kind of shaking your head, just kind of, right? So I'm not saying you're out here fucking breakdancing or some shit like that, right? But notice that voice in your head. Notice what it says to you, right? There's no way that you can do that. That would be so embarrassing. So embarrassing. And that would be the worst thing, right? The worst thing in your entire day, the worst thing in your entire life is to be embarrassed, right? Not you having fun, not you letting loose, not you going over here and making sure that your inner child feels good. No. We have to think about what everyone else is going to be thinking about us. What every single other person in this establishment will be thinking about us. That's what we need to think about. That's what we need to care about. And because we care so much about all these other people and what they think about us, we're not gonna dance. We're not gonna dance. In fact, it would be the worst thing in the world for us to start dancing. Even just a slight little movement? No. That would be the worst thing in the world. And so, even though you're standing there, and you will be standing there for the entirety of the song, 3 minutes, you don't dance. And maybe you try to enjoy the song, right? You try to get into it inside of your head. You disassociate. But is it the same thing? But let's say it's the same scenario again. But let's say that as much as you hear that voice, as much as that voice is pumping in your head, you say, no, I'm going to dance. In fact, I don't even have to argue with you. I'm already doing it. I'm already moving. I can't stop. I can't be stopped. What can I do? And like, seriously, I want you to think about like, how would you feel in that moment when you actually start dancing? Like, do you think that you would feel good? Do you think there would be a part of you that is getting so lost in the joy of the song, lost in the joy of dancing that like, you don't even fucking think about what other people are thinking about you? You're not even in that fucking dimension. You're in a different dimension. You're in the dimension of fucking joy. And you're over here just fucking enjoying yourself. just fucking living, just fucking doing what you gotta do. Which in this moment, when your favorite fucking song of all time is playing and you're just standing here anyway, right? It's not like you have a job to do or anything. You're going to be standing here for the next 3.5 fucking minutes anyway, that I'm dancing. Oh, I'm moving. Oh. And like, for real, like, how would you feel in that moment? You'd feel fucking great, right? You would transcend away. And I'm not trying to say that like there will be blips and bloops where, you know, I think, here's the thing. At first, when you start moving, you're going to be self-conscious, right? You don't immediately plop into the next fucking dimension. You're going to be self-conscious. And you're going to be thinking about, oh, this person behind me and this person in front of me and the cashier over here and the people sitting over here and the people standing over here, right? You're going to think about all that stuff, right? As you're doing your little fucking two-step, right? But the more that you do it and the more that you get into it, slowly, like layers of skin, like a fucking shake, like a fucking snake shedding its skin, slowly, layer by layer, more and more of that fear of being watched, that fear of being seen that you have so much, it starts peeling away and it's being replaced with joy, right? It's being replaced with joy. I think that so many of us, we're searching for this happiness, right? And we think that happiness has to be this big, huge ass, fucking big, huge emotion, right? Like I'm crying tears of joy and everything feels amazing, right? And that's why like so many of us are drug addicts, like myself, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm a recovering drug addict, okay? I'm a few days sober, okay? So, you know, yallah. So, I mean, but in truth, it's like that joy that we're all seeking, it's this more kind of like peaceful kind of thing of I'm just existing. I'm just rolling around at the speed of sound, right? And living in that sort of thing. But the thing is that it's like there's so many people around us who have taught us over and over again throughout our entire lives that we have to care so fucking much that the thought of even being embarrassed, right, is the most painful thing in the world. And we will crush anything in order to make sure that pain of embarrassment doesn't get to us. We will crush every single little joy, every single little piece of happiness that we could possibly have with us just authentically being ourselves and living in the moment because I'm so afraid of being embarrassed. Like that's the worst thing in the world, right? Like it's the worst thing in the world if other people in this coffee shop, like they look at me when I'm over here dancing and maybe they think something, right? Like realistically, is anybody gonna fucking say anything? Is anybody actually going to stand up and be like, wow, Jeremy, this is so absolutely ridiculous that you would be doing this right now. Like nobody's gonna give a two fucking shits, right? Nobody's gonna give two fucking shits. And most likely, honestly, think about it like this. So many other people in there, that's probably also their favorite song, or at least they enjoy the song. But for them, as they want to also dance, but they have the same internal monologue running through their head of, I can't do it because it's embarrassing and all this sort of stuff. So they don't do it. But then they look in front of them and they see you over there fucking going at it, fucking ripping shit up. And then they feel good. And then maybe they fucking dance too. Or even if they don't dance, at least they feel like they're like, oh, like that's kind of cool, right? You ever had that where, I mean, why is it that we enjoy watching people who are actors, watching people who are performers, watching people who are like musicians and shit like that doing their craft, right? We get this sort of enjoyment. Yes, because of the thing that they're doing, right? If the song's really good or the acting's really good, like yes, obviously that's part of what we're enjoying about it. But I think another reason that we enjoy it is because we're able to see them going out there and doing this thing where we would be like, absolutely, there's no way I could do that. That would be so embarrassing. Could you imagine if I was up on stage and I was acting? That would be so embarrassing. Could you imagine if I was up on stage dancing? That would be so embarrassing and everybody would be looking at me and everybody would be thinking about me and I just can't do that, right? But we see somebody else over here with fucking confidence over here doing this fucking thing, and then suddenly it makes us feel alive and we're not even doing it. We start, that joy is now contagious. That joy is now contagious that you are shooting out when you're fucking doing your little two-step in the coffee shop, and everybody else out here is, you know, they're feeling it too, right? And yeah, sure, maybe there are people who are in the coffee shop who are thinking to themselves, wow, that's so embarrassing for that person. I feel so bad for that person dancing over there. They feel so bad for them, right? Like, sure. But who gives a shit? Do I fucking care about what that person thinks? I don't even know what they're thinking that. I don't even know they're thinking that unless they're going to walk up to me and tell me, right? Unless they're going to walk up to me and be like, hey, that was so fucking embarrassing, right? So like, I don't even know that they're thinking that, right? We need to start embarrassing ourselves. You need to start embarrassing yourself, right? Who gives a fucking shit? And this isn't just some dummy shit like, oh, it's just about like dancing or whatever. Like, this is a part of the way in which we exist in this life. If you want to actually, I bet you're fucking depressed as shit. Right? I bet you're fucking depressed as shit because you know what? I'm fucking depressed as shit. Most of us are depressed as fucking shit. We're extremely anxious, guilt-ridden, shame-ridden, all these sorts of things. We feel fucking awful. And because of that, we're desperately chasing happiness. We're desperately chasing joy, but it's in these external things over here. And we're all fucking addicted to some sort of shit, right? Whether it's fucking sex or porn or drugs or gaming or fucking, doom scrolling or fucking whatever, because we feel so bad that we're just desperately trying to find that joy, desperately trying to find that happiness. But we're trying to find it externally because we look at ourselves and we're like, well, I feel so shitty and I'm always, feeling shitty and stuff like that, there's no way that I could provide that for myself. Right? There's no way I could provide that joy and that happiness for myself. It has to be this external thing over here. I have to get these other people to like me. I have to get these other people to want to be my friend. I have to get these other people to want to date me. These other people to want to fuck me. When like the reality is like the fucking truth is that it's like the joy is in here. The joy is in here. The happiness is in here. Right? If we're constantly seeking validation and happiness from other people out here, they will never, even if some of them are interested, right? Even if you desperately chase these people and some of them say, you know what? Yeah, sure. I want to be your friend, right? Or even like, yeah, sure. I do want to date you, right? Even if they do that, because we are putting it all on this other person, it's never going to actually fulfill it for us. Right? We're never going to actually feel fulfilled and actually have that happiness and this joy with this other person, right? It's always going to be this conditional transactional thing. And that's why we're so afraid of the other person leaving, right? Even if we're friends with this person, even if we're dating this person. Dating, I didn't say that, married. We're afraid, now we become desperately afraid that they're going to leave us, right? Because they're the source of our joy. They're the source of our happiness. So if they do leave us, then we're fucked. Then we're going to go back to that, terrible, depressing place that we were in before, right? So we have to hold on to them so tight. And we hold on to them so tight. And we're so paranoid about them leaving us that we end up fucking manifesting that shit in real life. And they end up leaving us anyway because of our actions, because we were so desperate in order to try to get them to stay. Right? We wanted them to stay so fucking bad that we ruined the whole entire thing because we couldn't find that joy and that happiness in here. We couldn't find it with ourselves, right? But it's because we're so afraid to be seen by other people. We're so afraid to be embarrassed, right? It's embarrassing to be seen by someone else, right? To be out there doing something that you just genuinely enjoy doing, or just being yourself. You're not even doing anything. You're just being yourself. You're just existing as yourself. That's embarrassing, right? I grew up that way, where it's like I grew up with the message of being taught by people and like my family and all these other people around me that like the worst thing that could possibly happen is that you're embarrassing, right? And it's like, no, Camilla, don't say that. No, Camilla, don't do this. Don't do that, right? And if it was something of I'm standing in line, we're just standing in line at the fucking KFC or some shit, and I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys comes on, and I start doing a little two-step. I start doing a little woo, 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 woo. The people around me are like, whoa, Camilla, come on. Camilla, are you serious? Camilla, that's so embarrassing. Camilla, you're embarrassing me. These people around me, they're going to start turning around, and they're going to start looking at me. And this, Camilla, come on, please stop. Please stop, Camilla. Please stop. Please stop. Right? Right? When I first reverted back to Islam, the people around me, they didn't want me to be wearing hijab. They're like, yeah, okay, fine. You want to fucking convert to Islam or whatever? Fine. But like, Do you have to wear hijab around us when we're outside in public? Everybody's going to look at us. Everybody's going to stare at us. Everybody's going to be judging us. It's going to be so embarrassing. Camilla, if you did that, that would be so embarrassing, right? When I first transitioned, obviously I'm trans as shit. You can obviously tell. When I first transitioned, the people around me, they didn't want me going out there wearing super femme clothes. They didn't want me going out there like wearing makeup and doing all this shit, right? And partly they're like, oh, you know, we care about your safety. But another part of it was that like, well, what if someone sees and they look at us and we get embarrassed, right? Because they'll be able to be like, oh, who's this fucking man over here dressed in little girl clothes? That's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. But at what point do you become a servant to other people? And it's not even to other people. It's to your idea of other people in your mind. Because there's no actual proof. There's no statistical study that actually shows that me doing a little two-step in the KFC parking lot in the or whatever is actually going to elicit this embarrassing response in the first place, right? Where's your proof that that's even going to happen in the first place, right? If I'm walking around in makeup, if I'm walking around in hijab, we don't even know for a fact that anyone else is even going to give a shit, right? Maybe somebody looks for like 2 seconds and then they keep walking, right? We don't even know they're going to do that in the first place. And then even if we go with the assumption that we definitely know for sure that they are going to look at us, right? Even then, it's like, who gives a shit? Is this person going to walk up and like attack me? Right? Like I'm a fucking trans hijabi, right? So yes, I need to think about my safety. I need to think about the ways in which I'm moving around in the world. I'm not trying to say that you should be completely unsafe, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, how many of these people are actually going to walk up to me and like attack me, right? The most is that they might walk up. This is all maybes. Maybe they'll walk up and they'll say something. Maybe they'll make some kind of snide comment. Maybe, okay? So fucking what? Do you think that this person's little snide fucking comment is more important than your joy? More important than your happiness? More important than you feeling content with yourself and feeling like you can express yourself? And you're not expressing yourself for the purpose of other people either, right? If I'm doing my fucking two-step in the KFC fucking parking lot, I've switched it to a parking lot for some reason, in line at KFC, I'm not doing it for other people. I'm not doing that because I'm trying to have other people be impressed with me and be like, wow, Camille, your dance moves are so good. I'm not doing that because of that. Right? I'm not going out here wearing a hijab because I want someone to walk up to me and be like, wow, you look so pretty in your hijab. Or I want someone to walk up to me and be like, oh, you know, assalamu alaikum, right? Like, I'm not doing it for that, right? And if I was doing it for that, then that would defeat the entire purpose because it's about the external fucking validation. I'm not dancing in the KFC fucking line because I want someone else to be like, wow, you're so cool, Camilla, right? I'm not pulling out my phone so I can make a fucking TikTok of it. I'm just doing it in the moment because I want to. Just because I want to. Just because the song comes on and it fills my body with so much joy that instinctually, I want to move and I want to dance. And I want that joy to continue reverberating throughout me and continue going back and forth. Like me and this song are over here playing a game, throwing this ball back and forth of joy back and forth to each other, right? If we continue trying to get external validation from other people and caring so fucking much about that, then our lives will continue being miserable. We will continue being miserable. We will continue where everything that matters to us is how someone else thinks. And again, like I said, so much of this is how we assume other people think about us. How we assume of what they think. We don't even know for sure. How many of the things that you think in your head when you're overthinking about other people, whether it's online or in person or whatever, how many of those things that you're overthinking about are actual facts that you have actual comments that people have told you, actual things, actual fucking receipts. Where's the receipts? Where's the fucking receipts? Where's the fucking receipts? There's no receipts. It's just shit inside your mind. You're living so much in this fucking fantasy world that you have all these characters, these characters of these people that you think that you know, and you're out here playing with their dialogue. You're making their dialogue. You're like, well, yeah, if I did the two-step in the KFC fucking line, I know that the cashier's probably gonna look at me and they're probably gonna say, wow, I can't. No one would ever want to date you. You're so embarrassing. You're so ugly. You're so terrible, right? That's just shit that you're making in your head. You're fantasizing. You're not even fantasizing about things that like you're even making you happy. You're like in this like shame fantasy. You're in this like shame fantasy. What is that? What is that doing for you? Is that making you happy? Is that giving you joy? Do you feel joy from that? When you're sitting around just filled with all of this shame that you made in your fucking head, that you fucking made up. We're raised to think like this, all right? We are raised by the people around us and conditioned, socialized to think like this, all right? So it doesn't make you a bad person if your immediate thought when you want to dance is to tell yourself no, is to shut yourself down, is to fill yourself with shame, right? But the point is that we can stop that cycle. We can stop it and we can notice it. Notice it. The next time that you're out in public and a fucking amazing song that you love comes on and you feel the urge to want to dance or want to sing or want to whatever, and then you notice the urge right after that, telling you not to do that, filling you with all this shame, you can take a step back and you can make a choice. Are you going to choose the shame? Are you going to choose the pity? Or are you going to choose your joy? Are you going to choose your happiness? It's a choice. You always have a choice. All of our actions, everything that we do, all of the thoughts that we have, it's always a choice. We think it's inevitable. We think it's fate. We think that there's nothing we can do about it. But there is. We have the fucking choice that we can make. We always have a choice. Whether it's about our thoughts, whether it's about our actions, whether about it, fucking any of this shit, we always have a choice. Ya Allah, we always have a choice. So the next time that you're standing in line at a fucking place and your favorite song comes on, I dare you. Yeah. Peer pressure. I dare you to dance. And again, I'm not saying you have to fucking go all out. Just a little, even just a little head, like a little head nod, like a, I was on the train once with someone and I was, I had earbuds in and this was someone that I knew and I was listening to music and I was just bopping my head along, right? I wasn't doing anything, right? I wasn't up here fucking jumping around, jumping off the ceiling and shit like that, dancing. I was just bopping my head back and forth and my friend next to me was like, can you stop? Can you stop? That's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Motherfucker, you're the only person who even noticed that my head was bopping back and forth like that in the first place. So I dare you. I fucking double dog, triple dog, fucking dare you. Next time you're in the situation to embarrass yourself. Be embarrassing. Do whatever instinctually your body wants you to do. Obviously, if it's like illegal, don't do that. But like, you know what I mean, right? And just do it. Just do it and find your joy. Find your joy and find your happiness. It's inside of you. It's always been inside of you. You can find it, but you just have to make the choice to do it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's Auntie Camilla. I'm back, bitch. I have tried for so long, for so many years, to do this whole fucking YouTube influencer shtick since I was in like 5th grade. And I'm not saying that necessarily I'll be successful this time, but this time I actually don't even care about being successful. I just care about the fact that I got shit to say and motherfuckers need to hear it. Motherfuckers like you need to hear it. So instead of me trying to do what I did before, where I would just like try to copy other people's styles because I desperately wanted that external validation, now I'm just gonna fucking make videos where I'm just talking shit. And if people like it, cool. And if nobody watches it, also cool. You know, I'll watch it. I'll be out there watching it. But yeah, I am out here doing things. I will let you know about some things that I'm doing, some cool things that I'm doing. I'm in film school now. I'm in film school and I am maybe making a movie soon. You'll hear more about it. But yes, this is Auntie Camilla signing out. Assalamu alaikum.